Okay, you know how we're all obsessed with, like, figuring out what our cats are thinking?
Yeah, like it's this big mystery.
Totally. Like, I've spent way too long Googling stuff like, uh, does my cat actually even love me?
Oh, yeah. Classic cat owner question.
Right. So today we're doing a deep dive into, like, the science of cats.
That's right. We're going way beyond like the internet quizzes and cute memes, and we're looking at actual research.
Yes. Hardcore scientific studies about, like, how cats' brains work and all.
It's really fascinating stuff. But, studying cats is actually kind of tricky.
Really? How come?
Well, they're not exactly the easiest research subjects. Like, you can't just stick them in a lab.
Oh, right, because they're so territorial.
Exactly. Like,
Yeah.
their behavior changes a lot when they're not in their own environment.
So it's kind of like if you tried to study a lion in a zoo.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't get the full picture.
Exactly. So a lot of the best research on cats is actually being done in people's homes.
Oh, wow. By, like, scientists who are also cat owners.
Yeah, pretty much. It's pretty cool, actually.
That's the best job ever. Okay, but, like, can science actually tell us if our cats care about us or not?
That's a big question. They're not exactly like dogs who are super obvious about it.
Right. So, like, what does the research say?
Well, there was this really interesting study from Kyoto University.
Oh, yeah?
They found that cats can actually keep track of where their owners are just by hearing their voices.
What? Really? That's wild.
I know. So they played recordings of the owner's voice calling the cat's name.
Okay.
But they made it sound like the voice was moving from room to room.
Oh, that's clever.
And get this, when the voice moved in a way that didn't make sense, the cats would act all surprised.
Like, wait a minute, my human shouldn't be over there.
Exactly. It shows they're paying attention to where we are.
So it's not just about wanting food or pets or whatever. They actually have a mental map of the house.
Yeah, they're way more aware of us than we realize. It might just be subtle.
Okay, so, like, what about those little things they do that seem like affection? You know, like head bunts and slow blinks.
Oh, yeah. Those little gestures actually mean a lot.
Really? I always thought it was just them being weird, honestly.
Well, like when they rub their head on you, they're actually marking you with their scent.
Oh, like claiming you as their own.
Yeah, it's a way of saying you're part of their group. And the slow blink thing,
Yeah, that's so cute.
it's their way of showing they trust you and feel safe around you.
Like a little kitty hug.
Exactly. It's a big deal for them. But you might wonder, like, why don't they cuddle more then?
Yeah, sometimes I wish mine was a little more cuddly.
Well, it helps to understand where cats come from. They're descended from the African wildcat.
Oh, right. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, but those instincts are still there. Wildcats are solitary creatures, so are house cats.
Still have a bit of that independent streak. Makes sense.
And that leads us to another myth. The vengeful cat.
Ooh, yeah. Like when they pee outside the litter box or knock stuff over, we're like, they're getting back at us.
Right. But honestly, their brains just aren't wired for that kind of planning. Yeah, their frontal lobes, which is the part of the brain that handles planning, it's less developed than ours.
Huh. So they're not, like, plotting elaborate revenge schemes.
Nope, not really. It's more likely they're just reacting to something in their environment.
Okay, so no evil geniuses, just curious cats being cats.
Pretty much. It's more about instinct, stress, or maybe even a medical issue.
So before we blame them for being divas, we gotta look deeper.
Exactly. It's about seeing things from their perspective.
And speaking of perspectives, I read that cats actually have, like, memories of specific events.
You mean episodic memory?
Yeah, that's it.
It's true, they do. There was a study where they used food bowls to test it.
Oh, yeah. How'd that work?
They basically showed cats that certain bowls had specific types of food.
Right.
And even after time had passed, the cats could remember which bowl had which food.
Wow, I had no idea they could remember stuff like that.
It means they're not just reacting to what's happening right now, they're thinking back to past experiences too.
That's crazy. Makes you wonder what else is going on in those little brains.
Right. And speaking of mind-blowing stuff, did you know that cats also dream?
Wait, they dream? Like we do?
Yep. We know from research with veterinary anesthetics, certain types can make cats hallucinate.
Wow, that's wild.
And when they're under these anesthetics, they often act like they're dreaming.
So, like, what are they dreaming about? Chasing laser pointers?
Who knows? We can only guess, but it's definitely fascinating to think about.
For real. Makes them even more mysterious.
And that mystery is what's drawn humans to cats for ages. Like, in ancient Egypt, they were considered sacred.
Oh yeah, like gods, right.
Exactly. Symbols of grace, independence, divinity.
It's like they saw something in cats that we've kind of forgotten.
Maybe. So what if instead of trying to make them into little dogs, we embraced their wildness?
You mean like their aloofness and everything?
Yeah, appreciating them for the unique creatures they are.
Whoa. That's a whole new way of thinking about cats. I'm in.
It's pretty amazing what we can learn from these furry little creatures.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Like, who knew they were so deep?
Well, John Gray, this philosopher, he talks about something called like feline mindfulness.
Feline mindfulness. Okay. I'm intrigued. What's that all about?
Well, have you ever like seen a cat stressing out about work deadlines? Or like worrying about the past?
No way. My cat is like the master of chilling out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're so good at just being present in the moment, enjoying the little things.
It's like they have that inner peace that we're always searching for.
Right, and they're content with such simple things. They don't need a lot to be happy.
Maybe that's the secret to their napping skills. They've mastered the art of relaxation.
Could be. But it's not just about relaxing. Cats also have this incredible sense of self-assurance.
Yeah, like they're totally comfortable with who they are. They don't care what anyone thinks.
Pressure we put on ourselves to be a certain way.
Seriously. But, okay, that independent spirit can be a challenge sometimes. Like when you're trying to get them to do something they don't want to do.
Oh yeah, for sure. But it's important to remember that independence isn't them being mean or anything.
Right, it's just who they are.
It's part of their nature. But what about those times when they, like, knock stuff over or scratch the furniture? You still think it's revenge.
Good point. You said their brains aren't wired for that kind of thinking, right?
Yeah, they're not plotting our demise or anything.
So then why do they do it?
Think of it as their way of communicating, like, hey, something's not right here.
Oh, so like maybe their litter box is dirty or they're stressed out.
Exactly. Or maybe there's a medical issue we're not aware of.
So we should be paying attention to those behaviors and trying to figure out what they mean.
Yep. Instead of getting mad, try to solve the problem. More playtime, a different scratching post, whatever they need.
It's all about understanding their needs and respecting them for who they are.
Now, remember those cat dreams we talked about?
Oh, yeah. I'm still curious about those. Like, what could they possibly be dreaming about?
Well, we can't know for sure, but it's probably similar to us. Processing experiences, memories, maybe emotions.
So not just catnip and toys flying around their heads.
Maybe sometimes. But cats have rich inner lives, you know? Lots of sensory input, emotions.
It's amazing to think about. Like, what's it really like to see the world through their eyes?
And that sense of wonder is what fascinated people about cats for a long time. Like in ancient Egypt, remember?
Oh, yeah. They were basically worshipped.
Well,
What was it about cats that they found so captivating?
I think it was that mysterious quality they have, that ability to be both wild and domestic.
Yeah, like they're fierce hunters, but also cuddly companions.
Exactly. And the Egyptians saw something almost magical in that duality.
It's like they appreciated cats in a way that we don't always do today.
Right. So what if instead of trying to make them act like little dogs, we embraced all those things?
The wildness, the aloofness, all of it.
Exactly. Appreciating them for the complex creatures they truly are.
Wow, that's a whole new perspective. I'm kind of blown away by this, honestly.
It might sound kind of crazy, but yeah, like those qualities we were talking about, being present and content with simple things and just being themselves.
Yeah, and it's like we spend so much time trying to get our cats to act like us.
Right. Instead of appreciating them for who they are.
It's like that saying about the fish trying to climb a tree.
Exactly. We're judging them by the wrong standards.
Maybe we should be admiring their independence instead of wishing they were always cuddly.
It's true. They're so comfortable with themselves.
Yeah, it's like they just have this inner confidence that we could all learn from.
And that's what John Gray talks about with feline philosophy.
Right. It's like a whole different way of looking at life.
Instead of always rushing and stressing, maybe we could learn to slow down like our cats.
Be more present. Enjoy the simple things.
Exactly. Happiness doesn't have to come from achieving a bunch of stuff.
You know, after all this, I'm kind of seeing my cat in a new light.
I know, right? It's like a whole new level of respect.
It's like we've uncovered this whole secret world of feline wisdom.
And the best part is, there's always more to discover.
Totally. So keep observing your cats, everyone.
Ask questions, be curious.
And embrace the mystery. Well, that's all for today's deep dive.
Thanks for listening.
We'll be back soon with more mind-blowing insights. Until then, stay curious.